My name is Christopher Haight, and this is my proclamation to found the Society for the Abolishment of Genital Mutilation, specifically circumcision. Like a lot of people, I was impacted by Ayaan Hirsi Ali's book, where she talks about her own genital mutilation as a young woman. And I was shocked, but I never realized I had been. And the reason why is it was forced upon me. And then every time I complained, I was emotionally sandbagged by, you should think about how Jesus suffered and I don't want to talk about it. And I was never allowed to ask why the protective covering on my penis had been removed. And so I'm out here, I'm 35, and I'm meditating in the wilderness looking for God like they recommend. And I realize in the silence and looking for stillness, which I don't really believe in anymore, I found that I had been circumcised and I was uncomfortable. And I connected to the first time of what I call like a denied social feeling, where like people aren't allowed to address that as a reality. And when I looked a little deeper, you find that Judaism, Islam, and Christianity all practice ritual genital mutilation of young men. This was like, I've been gaining steam. I had to switch from my old channel because I want to focus on doing that here. Um, and if this isn't my life calling, I don't know what is. Do you want to spend the rest of your days to try to stop young people from being genitally mutilated? The thing that drove me over the edge is the Bible claims to be the Word of God. But scientists say there was no global flood. They say that across the whole earth, there is no telltale marker that a flood happened at the same time. And so that's an issue. And that means that everything else the book says is no good. It means that Jesus isn't coming back. We have to be humble as humans to know that where we came from was arduous and hard fought through survival, right? We're eaters. We should feed people and take care of each other's bodies. It should be the most principal kindness we can muster. And for me, and the establishment of the Organization for the Abolishment of Circumcision, it's going to be for all genital mutilation of young people, of course, but more importantly for young men, because we haven't had a big voice stir it up yet. People are too... I was told once this isn't the right time to talk about it. It's never the right time to genitally mutilate a baby. Every other mammal has a cover on the penis that serves a purpose. You can't just take it off. You monsters. So the fact that there's no global flood means that the religion recommending it as the way to serve God is just monstrously distorted. It's so ooh, ooh, ah, ah. It's not. I think that God, the fireball, told us to take this part off people's PVs. It doesn't make any sense. If I laugh, it's because I want it. You know how I grew up. I have to laugh about it. But the Bible recommends being happy all the time, which seems absurd too. So anyway, this is the society it's founded. This is the founding video. I'm its first and only member. For the abolishment of male circumcision, the ritual mutilation of young men's genitalia. Millions, it's like, you want young men to be nicer? Start treating their bodies better and with love from earlier ages. Don't treat men like there's something wrong with them, which is what it's been. But we all know it's for sexual competitor removal. The Bible, since it was invented, we know it was invented. If the Great Flood didn't happen, Adam and Eve are out. And if the Jews never left Egypt, which is what scientists are saying, they're saying the number of Jews given to leave during the Exodus doesn't look like it physically happened. Like the Egyptians were busy doing other stuff during those moments. And it was brought to life in storytelling, but it's just storytelling. It's early fiction. It's not true. And that, since at the cusp of the story with the Ten Commandments, the reason we think of laws, the reason we have laws and punishment to begin with, is because of God is sending you to hell. It's a big issue. It's a big time. So anyway, the society's implicit goal is to end the genital mutilation of young men. This will bring an age of comparative peace. A ton of psychos are going to be eliminated by doing this. There's no optional parts on a baby penis. I don't want one little man to go through that again. You know, they used to say babies can't feel pain because of the circumcision practice. It's just heartless. If there's no great flood, then there's little to no likelihood that God told you to modify baby penises. I feel like Greta. I can't believe I woke up to a world where my dick had been modified and I was told to shut up about it and get a job. And then everyone who tells me about world history says we've never had a firm footing on what that thing is anyway. You really just don't know what's happening. So many stories could just be stories. So anyway, it gotten a little off topic, but it will. During my lifetime, I'm going to stop people from mutilating baby dicks. Please let that be my legacy. Anyway. I will be uploading every video I want to talk about it here. If you would like and share the channel with like-minded people who think that protecting the penises of young men should be the least I do with my time. Because tomorrow there will be another. Tomorrow there will be another. It's not going to change. They're not going to stop mutilating baby dicks unless we bring it up and say no more. We know about that. We don't believe in a flood anymore, and we don't believe Jesus is coming back, and we'd prefer it if you stop touching our children with knives, please. That's what we need to say. That's what needs to go on right now. You want to know what the agenda of the day is? Stop touching baby dicks. If you do, you better be his mom, and it better be a kiss, and he better like it. That's how it is. No more knives on baby dicks. Fathers, I would rather you and your son hold each other's dick like just like a boundary cross, right? Like just loving touch, like I accept you, right? That would be better than to continue cutting parts off it and keeping it illegal to be naked. Like these are just two things I think, all right? Anyway, I'm going to do it in my lifetime. I'm going to end the genital mutilation of young men. Done. You're not doing it anymore. It hasn't helped anybody. It doesn't curb. You have no business between what that person does with their body for fun. You're not supposed to stop people from masturbating if they want to. Besides, the circumcision makes it so that the only relief you can have physically is by getting slightly hard, because in the aroused state, the head of the penis is out anyway. But that's for you and your wife. And it's not out all the time for most men. They just rip that shit off of men. They said, no more foreskin. We're tired of it. And the people saying that there's like a disease that it helps, like, yeah, 1 in millions might have theirs so it's not loose. But that is rare, and you can self-indicate if that's your issue. Right? You don't need to do it for everyone just in case. No, God ordered it. We know that because there's no great flood. The end. Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, you hear those words? Those are dick-clipping cults. They are dick-clipping cults. They generally mutilate young men. You need to be aware of that. I'm putting an end to it. You know what I found when I was out in nature? Not God. I found I was uncomfortable. I found that my dick's cover had been removed. That's what I found. You're not going to get rid of me. You don't just like I'm not giving up. You're going to stop mutilating young men. And you're going to give up in the mad fancy that Jesus is coming back. Liars and deceived. Sorry, biblical proclamation is like serial killing. It is. When I was watching the few biographies of a few serial killers, they're exactly like the biblical authors. The way they think, the way they isolate people, the way people who are serial killers are Christian. You know, it's not a true religion. It's a death cult around made up namby-pamby stuff. It's not provably true. So anyway, this is the society. I want to stop posting on my main channel because I do art there and it doesn't make sense. And so this channel will be talking specifically about ending circumcision and debunking biblical myths so that people can end circumcision safely, because people will not end it if they still think God wants them to do it. So you got to poke holes in the myth. Like all the scientists, you should be disproving every myth of the Bible every day as much as you can, because it's going to weaken circumcision. It's male genital mutilation. The foreskin's present in like every other mammal. You don't take it off. If it wasn't supposed to be there, it'd fall off. It doesn't make any sense. I'm calling it. As soon as I heard there's neurons in it and it takes care of the glands, I was like, whoa. Someone, I mean, that's outrageous. That is outrageous that a Catholic who joined the Nazis in World War II, by the way, don't forget the Catholics were on the side of Hitler, you know, is that these people said, you know what? We're not going to give this baby a penny. In fact, he should expect to serve us and give us all the fruits of his labor. But we're going to take a piece of his dick off so he doesn't go out sleeping with any of the girls I like. That was literally it. It was as thug nasty as it's ever been. It was as much neighborhood domination. Jesus said you're going to hell. And people who are clued in that that's how it is, they use that. They'll use it all day. They know that it's a weapon. They know that it's just made up. If there's no great flood, the whole Bible falls apart. The Great Flood says that the whole planet was underwater about 4,000 years ago all at the same time. This means that in geological markers, there would be a massive event like a Great Flood ubiquitously across the whole planet. And what many people have pointed out is we haven't found that. And they're still looking for the ark. There was one joke that said everyone who's looked for the ark has found one. You know, there's no real great ark, and people have just poked it apart. You mean to tell me God flooded the whole place? Okay, that sounds like you're bringing your main character to life. But we shouldn't trust your word on that, you know? Humans have made stuff up. I knew a few kids growing up. You couldn't trust them. They say, oh, trust me. Oh, yeah, no, come over here. You got to do this. This is a really good investment. It's not. He's like just stealing your money. You're going to want some of this. Totally you don't. It's all right. I forgive you. I forgive myself, but we're going to stop mutilating baby dicks. All right? It's going to be good for the future. You're going to get rid of a lot of male psychopaths. When you treat men well, you're going to get great results out of them. Boys who are loved give love away. They are loved. But saying people are love is the Bible too. Be careful, you know. Saying God is love is a way to put the will of the Lord between you and how you use your penis, which, as we know, is just debunked. Like, God would make me different if he wanted me different, if he made me. But we know he didn't make me. We know evolution's been won through hundreds of millions of years of hard-fought Earth. That comes from fossils. Fossils exist in predictable layers within the Earth. There's no fossil from a time period that appears in another time period without some serious geological shit happening around it. So anyway, the idea this place was underwater 4,000 years ago is being alerted to us by people looking, saying it never happened. That's serious for the mutilation of young men, because that means that, and especially if the Jews didn't seem like they were in Egypt, it's a womp-womp. Somebody told a tall tale. Somebody had an issue with the world the way it was and told everyone God told them how it is. And nobody knowing any better decided to believe it, and it's been 2,000 years of the genital mutilation of men. Hello? My dick has been altered my whole life because of other people's ideas, and I've been living in horror at what these people did to me, right? This is for your sinful nature. The fuck? If half of these people don't turn around to be psychos, I'm surprised. I would be a psycho too. So anyway, this has been long enough. This is my introductory video for the Society to End the Genital Mutilation of Children. Boys and girls, there's no optional parts to baby genitalia. None. If it came with the body, leave it on the body, unless the person knows what they want to change, and they're willing to do that. And then it's no takebacks. You gotta understand that's how that is anyway. Yeah. Bless each other's bodies. No knife should ever go near a child in that way. There's no optional parts on a baby. You know, that's my opinion. You shouldn't be cutting things off baby dicks, especially if there's no great flood. That's a huge red flag. Let's stop that. And you may think it doesn't matter, but it does. This covers hundreds of millions of men, because all three Abrahamic religions are touched by it. And that covers, what, like 1 billion people at least? And we've been spreading it around to other cultures, calling it a good thing. It's a clear disregard of male feelings, and it's a clear disregard of the man's right to have a sensual relationship with his world. It's not good. Circumcision is a vile abomination, and we will not do it anymore on earth. As my vow to the people of humanity forever, I will end this thing for you. They will not continue. They won't be able to forget me shouting about it enough to keep doing it. They'll go like, yeah, there's no flood. You're right. Spider-Man's not coming back. We're not the blood sacrifice of a virgin born special person who you haven't met, but these people did. You better believe them. Everyone's saying they prayed and met Jesus. It's a weird situation. It might be a lot of Bible myth. There might be a real God. I can't make up some of the miracles I've seen in my life, but it could be humans manifesting miracles. If God existing is like a perpetual mind delusion that's supported by members, then that would be an interesting outcome. But anyway, I'm going to stop the genital mutilation of young men. You're welcome to join me. Anyone who comments or subscribes will be my friend. And I will consider you as a supporter. My humble mission will be to bring awareness to biblical heresy, so you understand that the thing's been wrong about material things, and it's where we get the recommendation to alter young men that way, and we should question it. I don't like using laws because that's biblical, but just stop it. Treat people well, you know what I mean? It's a lot to ask that some words written down should carry off into eternity, but that's what in the beginning is the word did. It said words are foundational to life. Well, we know how words have evolved over time. That's not true. Words change through use. Words change through use and accepted grammatical fashion. You know, a single attractive, prominent speaker can lead people to a new way of saying things. You know, they just furnish it from their own creativity. So anyway. This is it for the video. It's gone on long enough. I'm not going to edit any of it. I'm just going to put it out. The Society for the Abolishment of Genital Mutilation. Stop it. Not to babies, not on my watch, guys. Not on my watch. You're not going to keep doing this to kids on my watch. I was abused out of noticing it, and I was manipulated, and I was like handing curtain, oh, look over here, you know, don't let them complain about it. And it was, as a young man, if you complain about what they did to you, they will attack you. That is true. If you complain about your circumcision, they will attack you. And they'll tell you should remember how Jesus suffered, and they should also say that they'll tell you you have an inborn sinful nature and we had to do it. That's what they say. Now, if there's no great flood, if that's not provable, if you can't prove there was a flood that happened across the whole earth at the same time, then you should drop the belief that circumcision is good and that God wrote the Bible. If the global flood is not true, God did not write the Bible. End of story. It's a hoax. All of its big grand claims are hoaxes. It might mean prayer works too, but it doesn't mean he told any being with any divine authority said you should tell people. And it follows logic that if God wanted me to know something, God could show up and tell me him or herself. Wouldn't need a messenger who was covered in the blood of children to tell me about it, please. You know, H.H. Holmes was a serial killer. He was found with a dead baby under his bed. You have a dead baby under your bed? You are definitely serial killery, right? You're mutilating baby dicks and the stories you told us about God turned out not to be true? Uh-oh, that's a psycho. The Bible is not a good book. Get out of the hypnosis of saying it is. It is a psycho's manuscript for how to ruin a world. It is. It ruins lives. It ruins lives. It has nothing but knives for people. Doesn't like them at all. Why is God obsessed with infidelity? It doesn't make any sense. It's a human. And it's a human with a knife, and it's not good. Yeah, ending male genital mutilation. I didn't look for it. It found me. But it's undeniable that I would be in the wrong if I lived even a day without saying something. So I'm probably going to publicize some TikToks about it. Get some word out. I've done thousands of people talking about It might be a good way, ending male genital mutilation. And I might be the perfect messenger because I am a public speaker by trade. I used to do it in the military. Don't join the military either. Oh God, there's so many things. Don't cut anything off your baby's bodies. Please. Leave kids alone. And don't go jumping to anyone else's lure. You know what I mean? Like, don't let someone else tell the story of your life. That's not fair. That's not fair. That's all I gotta say. All right, I will do something with my life, and one day I'm sure I will be in a history footnote as the guy who tried his best to stop babies from getting genitally mutilated, and maybe someone will say, "Thank God someone did. No one else wanted to talk about it." Hopefully, other people want to talk about it. You know, it is the right time. It's never the right time to modify a baby penis. It is always the right time to say not to do it, especially if it's ubiquitous. It's all across society. Hundreds of millions of men are affected today. Let's say I live my whole life and I don't say anything. By the time I'm 70, how many thousands of millions of men's penises will have been altered irreparably due to Spider-Man? I have to do something. I have to say something. I have to put that energy out and go, stop it. I'm not going to be around forever. You know, hopefully the people who remember me are going to say, well, that was nice. I'm glad you tried. That was good enough, right? Maybe I'll do it. It's going to be awareness and reach. People are ready to hear the Bible's bullshit. They're rolling their eyes at it. And if there's no great flood, then there's no really good... And there were no Jews in Egypt. If there's no great flood and no Jews in Egypt, womp womp, that's an upsie. And then as soon as you realize it's fake, where all of it came apart is what it says about big dicks and sexual immorality, right? It says women aren't allowed to like big dicks in the Bible. The author's really sly. He's like, I'm putting one over on them. They're not going to know. That's why that line in David, when my loins are girded in the day of truth, what he means is when everyone finds out he's a cuck who wasn't circumcised. That's what he means. When King David, when he says his loins are girded in the day of truth, it means when they find out he's a cuck and he wasn't circumcised. I'm sorry, you don't have a right to hurt babies just because you have all of these crimes, as people have pointed out, the worst crimes on earth involve sex crimes, people who are sexually manipulated. And so if I can stop millions of men from being genitally mutilated for no good reason, I'm a fucking hero. I swear, I don't care what you say, I've done something important. It didn't... I did. I got a tarot reading from my buddy Chris. You'll see him on here if you know me. His name is Chris. And he said, something's coming in. It's going to be life-changing. It's a calling. And it's from your past. Well, I couldn't figure out what it was. And it was like literally like a week later. I was like, I was circumcised. That pisses me the fuck off. I wish my dick had its cover. How many men are circumcised? What, millions a year? I can do something about that. I gotta. If I can't stop you from doing what was done to me, if it's already over, I can at least stop you from doing it to others. It's the most basic thing I could do. All right, I'm gonna get some drinks. This is my view. This is what I was looking at. You know, I've tried words or spells. There might be a presence of a spirit. I've seen some weird things, but I just don't believe, if the Great Flood turns out not to be true, then Jesus is definitely not coming back, and circumcising your young is definitely a mistake. I can't abide by it. I have to do something. The spirit of all people who've given a shit is compelling me. I have to. Stop touching baby dicks with knives. You don't give babies a penny. There's no gold offering to the young ones. There's no, you're going to be great one day. It's remember how you could fuck it up. Remember what they did to Jesus. The Bible says you're going to be circumcised and then you're going to live under the law. And then it says if you break the law, you'll get circumcised again, meaning they'll take the rest of it. It's a psychopath's threat. There's no way a loving, compassionate, wise creator was like, and then send, right? Hit send on that. Tell them all. Tell them, Moses. That didn't happen. some biblical author at some point was like, me and family, gonna make it up. Get all those men off my girls, so they won't want us since they've been knifed. Their sensitive feeling part of them has just been jerks. At least I can have kids. If I ever have sons, they will not be circumcised. They're gonna be fine. Genital mutilation of the young. Stop that. Stop that. Millions of men have gone through totally voluntary genital mutilation. What? I didn't for your God. I didn't find him, but I found out I'd been circumcised. If God needed babies to be different, he would have made them different. You guys are not fooling me with your great flood myth. It doesn't look like that happened, and then there's no Garden of Eden either. Nobody knew about DNA. No one from the Bible. Nobody knew the earth was round, not from the Bible. You guys are sus. Putting an end to it. Today.